In late April of 2000, 17-year-old Sam, an avid outdoorsman, decided to embark on a solo overnight hike in Arizona's notorious Superstition Mountains. These mountains, shrouded in mystery, had earned their name due to countless tales of unexplained deaths and disappearances. Locals avoided the area, gripped by the fear of the unknown, but Sam was neither superstitious nor easily frightened. He was familiar with an 8-mile loop trail that meandered through a canyon and planned to hike 4 miles in, camp for the night, and return the next morning. Initially, Sam intended to go with a friend, but his companion canceled at the last minute. Undeterred, Sam resolved to go alone, trusting his experience and knowledge of the terrain. However, unforeseen delays meant he didn't reach the trailhead until nearly 6 p.m. With daylight fading fast, Sam realized he wouldn't make it to his intended campsite, but decided to press on, aiming for a suitable spot a couple of miles in. The trail, once familiar and inviting, now seemed ominous in the fading light. As darkness enveloped the landscape, Sam relied on his flashlight to navigate the rugged path. The beam cut through the night but offered little comfort. Shadows danced on the edges of his vision, and the silence of the wilderness was deafening. As he ate, an inexplicable sense of unease washed over him. Scanning the tree line, Sam saw nothing but darkness beyond the flickering firelight. He rationalized his anxiety, blaming it on the eerie atmosphere, until a rock landed at his feet. His heart raced as he stared at it, the unease now morphing into full-blown dread. He scanned the darkness more intently, but the forest offered no answers, just oppressive silence. For 15 tense minutes, Sam sat motionless, eyes darting between the trees. Nothing else happened. Gradually, he convinced himself it was just a coincidence, a rock dislodged by a falling branch or kicked by his own foot. Reassured, he climbed into his sleeping bag and fell into a restless sleep. Hours later, Sam jolted awake, the dread returning with a vengeance. The air was thick with an unnatural stillness. Straining his ears, he caught the faint sound of footsteps crunching through the leaves, 30 or 40 feet away. He froze, heart pounding, trying to determine if the sound was coming closer or moving away. After a moment, the noise faded, and Sam convinced himself it was an animal wandering through the forest. Just to be safe, he reached for his flashlight, but it wasn't there. Panicking, he felt around in the dark, certain he'd left it by his side. Suddenly, out of the corner of his eye, he saw a faint glow. His flashlight was on the ground, 10 feet away in the direction of the footsteps. Someone, or something, had been close enough to take it from beside him while he slept. Sam's blood turned cold. It's a trap, he thought. The flashlight was bait to lure him into the trees. Fighting the urge to flee, Sam grabbed his knife and resolved to stay put. He stoked the fire to a roaring blaze, hoping its light and heat would keep whatever was out there at bay. For hours, he stood in the center of his campsite, knife in hand, as faint footsteps approached and retreated from the perimeter of the clearing. Each time the fire dimmed, the steps drew closer. By 3 a.m., Sam had run out of firewood. The fire dwindled, its protective glow fading. He braced himself for the inevitable. The footsteps returned, closer than ever, stopping just beyond a cluster of thick trees less than 10 feet away. Sam couldn't see what was hiding there, but he could feel its presence, watching him, waiting. For 2 agonizing hours, he stood his ground, muscles taut, ready to defend himself against whatever emerged from the darkness. Then, just as the first rays of sunlight began to filter through the trees, the presence retreated. Sam heard hurried footsteps fading into the forest, and then silence. He waited until full daylight before packing his things and sprinting back to the trailhead, adrenaline propelling him forward. Reaching his car, Sam sped away without looking back. 20 miles later, he pulled into a gas station to catch his breath. Stepping out of his car, he noticed something scrawled in the dust on his rear window. "Sleep well." A chill ran down his spine. Whoever, or whatever, had stalked him in the forest had followed him to his car. To this day, Sam can't shake the question that haunts him. What would have happened if I'd gone after that flashlight?